off air during the break. She absolutely does know a lot about them. Let's bring in Rebecca Walser for her take on these digital currencies. Thanks for being on and taking the time, Rebecca. You're a fantastic guest to have on about this. Well, we had some folks write into our cow phone and say, we need Rebecca to tell us about, these digital currency or cryptocurrencies. What would be the easiest way to kind of get it across and then tell us what you think about the future of these things?
Great question, Scott. And I'm so honored to be asked specifically. That's so makes me so proud and I'm humble. But I want to just say that, I've always told clients that cryptos are the future, but and specifically I'm talking about the blockchain and I'm talking about decentralized finance on the blockchain. So basically all of these financial processes, instead of them being institutionalized and run through channels that are regulated by the government, decentralized means off the government's radar, decentralized and on the blockchain. And so I've always told clients that, listen, the government will attempt to regulate this. And so until I see what the regulations are, we classify cryptocurrency investment as completely speculative because we just don't know what those regulations look like. And fortunately, that was right information. That was good advice because to think of it as a speculative investment for now, because on March 9th of this year, 2022, Joe Biden did sign an executive order where he basically instructed all federal agencies to promulgate rules on how they want to regulate cryptocurrency. And if we look at what this Biden administration has already done, what they did with the American Rescue Plan, ARP, they went after the custodians, the third-party exchanges. So they went after, for example, what we call payment settlement entities, PSEs. That's the Venmos, the Cash Apps, the PayPals, the Zells. They went through to all of those and said, you must send tax records. And so this is what we see them doing to the third-party exchanges for cryptocurrencies. And so we expect that this is why the ETFs are not necessarily getting approved at the SEC. Of course, this is my speculation, but the SEC knows the full intention of this Federal Reserve to move to what we call the Fed Now service, which is the U.S. central bank digital currency service. That is already now in full beta testing, expected to be operational as fast as May of next year. So
just to slow it down, so just so the viewers know, what Rebecca's talking about there is basically Bitcoin for the U.S., correct?
Exactly.
So we would have our own currency. Okay, go ahead.
That's right. So it's a central bank digital currency, and it would be a U.S. digital dollar. And so that has already been in full beta testing, and that is supposed to be operational by May of 2023. So just May of this coming year. So you're going to start seeing a push, Scott. They have to get a digital ID first. They have to get the digital ID first because they can't expect you to trust a system if you can't be digitally verified. So what you're looking at is all of these things coming together now, the ESG and the personal credit scores that we've been talking about, these social credit scores that are coming from China's sort of mentality. You've got now this digital dollar coming in, and in order to use all of this functionality, you must accept a digital ID. So you'll start to see a push for a digital ID because the system doesn't work without them knowing who you are. And what that means, once we all get on a digital ID, you will not be able to get on the internet anymore autonomously. Now, I'm not saying this is happening by May next year, but I'm saying all of these things are coming together. And this is the full push now that we're seeing of the Great Reset.
So they're basically turning your computer into you and giving it some sort of social security number.
Exactly right.
So anything that comes through that computer, which is anything that comes through me, would be coming through me as my social security number, which means total control.
Or wherever you log in, where you won't be able to get into the internet at all without using your digital ID so that they can track and monitor everything you're doing.
And
that's
so
correct.
They think that this is going to be good for free speech. They think this is going to be good for tax revenues. I mean, what other things do they think this is going to be good for? But go ahead.
This is cultural Marxism. This is 100% the first step to communism. There's nothing freedom about this. I'm 100% against all of it. This is why the slow-moving kill of our cash was started with coronavirus. Oh, money's dirty. It can transfer viruses. We're cashless, store it. Oh, isn't that so cool? I'm cashless. I can send you money in 10 seconds. That's all great until the government controls it all and money becomes irrelevant. It really becomes a voucher system and a coupon system that they completely control. Yes. They can tell you what you can spend your money on, when you can spend your money. This is the end of freedom as we know it, Scott. We must all rise up and say no.
Well, so I just want to put it to you this way before we go. We got to go. But, we gave away a lot of our rights because of fear. A lot of folks were afraid, so they gave up those rights immediately. But, the next thing is we're giving up rights for convenience. And that's even dumber, right? That's even dumber. I don't like cash. Let's go all electronic. So then they get the code. Anyway, so I'll end it on that. But that was an excellent synopsis. I really appreciate it. That's Rebecca Walser. Thank you very much for coming on. I love it.